Have you seen enough receipts yet? I don't think so. Let's continue. Now when I uploaded part 3 of the unmasking, I got an interesting comment from Lily Hawaii, and she told me about the conversation she had had with Harley via Instagram. So she sent me an email with screenshots of the whole conversation. Now we don't have time to go through the whole conversation, but I want to focus on this screenshot. Here's Harley telling Lily about a girl that was molested by her father. Now let me tell you this, the age difference between Harley and this girl is about the same age difference between me and my dad. So Harley could have been this girl's dad.
That's just me, man. Just me being Daddy Durnrod.
And here he's bragging about sleeping with her and restoring her faith in men.
The magic thinking goes along with the whole sexual abuse as well, because in their mind, they've justified it. So magic thinking, they justify what they're doing, and in their mind, if they say it's true, it's true. Which is crazy. So, you know, but in their mind, it's like, well, if I say it, then it's true. Yeah, it's magic thinking. It's totally magic thinking. They absolutely know when they're lying, and they choose to believe their own lies.
Now, do you remember the first message I showed? The girl that wanted to talk with Hannah about her experience, but then suddenly backtracked and said she wanted to only talk about Hannah's experience? When I uploaded Josie's video, she commented on that video. So Hannah contacted her again, as you can see in this message. And what did she say? That she was too scared to speak with Hannah at the time. And look at that, she never said that she would testify against Hannah. Harley caught in yet another lie. And here you can see that Hannah told her that Harley was talking about her with random people. And look at that, she never said that Harley restored her faith in men. Is anyone surprised? Because I wasn't. And here you can see that she's telling Hannah about a nightmare she had about Harley. And then Hannah responds, Harley nightmares are the worst.
Nightmares. Okay, yes, we will get nightmares from the PTSD. So that is our brain trying to process the abuse.
All these things, in my opinion, which are done by an adult female, single, are all above board, natural, normal, healthy, nothing.
Now, does this sound natural, normal, and healthy to you?
Because keep in mind, for a narcissist, sex is not about sex. Right? So normal people, sex is a way of bonding. It's a way of kind of strengthening your relationship. It's a way of showing your love and your affection for your partner. Narcissists truly don't give a shit about any of those things, right? So that's not why they have sex. They have sex for power and control, right? And power and control driven sex is the same reasons that drives rape. It's the same reasons that drive incest and other types of sexual assaults.
Now, after I learned about this girl, I said to one of Harley's troll accounts, and by the way, this is how I expose his troll accounts. I said to one of his troll accounts, I know about the girl that was sexually abused by her father. And then moments later, she got this message from Harley. NorVegan is saying, I raped you. No, I didn't. So here once again, Harley is describing it as rape when nobody has said anything about rape. But I'll take Harley's word for it. Now in this message, you can see that the girl didn't respond to him. So Harley follows up with this message. Do you think it was ethical of me to record various conversations we had because I suspected someone might lie one day about me? Now this sounds strangely familiar, doesn't it? Why is it that Harley always suspects that something might turn up from the girls he supposedly has had adult consensual sex with? Now she still didn't respond to that message, so what happened was that this Tumblr was suddenly posted. So this is clearly Harley talking to himself again. So in his question to himself, he first brings up Hannah and Josie and suggests that they're promiscuous. And then he names the girl that was sexually abused by her father, saying she tested positive and that it was so admirable of her to be transparent and tell the guys about it, saying it was a lot of them. Then saying she should get out of the sex worker industry. Then saying it's a double standard in society, that making herself out to be an easy lay on social media will never serve any woman. But who is it that is making it out that she's an easy lay? That's Harley. That's how he abused his power. Then he makes another Tumblr post, naming her again and claiming that she's spreading all kinds of lies on the net. Remember that this girl hasn't said anything about him publicly. She just stopped replying to his messages. Then he names her again in another Tumblr post. And then he names her again in another Tumblr post, and here he draws in Sam and Dexter because he had a problem with them at the time too. So he gets to draw in Josie, Hannah, Sam, Dexter, this girl. He gets to abuse quite a lot of people at the same time. This is what Harley does if the girls he targets cut contact with him. He forces them to pretend like everything is fine, so he won't do this. So when he shows emails between Hannah and himself and use that as some kind of evidence that doesn't hold up because of how he operates.
That level of grinding a person down, of just targeting them on many of these different levels. And highly manipulative people rarely just stick with one form of abuse. There's generally multiple forms of abuse. It's just kind of whatever they can do to get that power and control over that person, over that situation. And if they can degrade and humiliate them, that's just all part of getting that person underneath their thumb.
They really just hate women. A lot of narcissists hate women, and they just hate them. So they're either into humiliating them, degrading them, or just absolutely treating them like garbage.
A lot of times they tend to focus on what they know is going to hurt the victim the most. So it's kind of whatever you're sensitive about. If it's your height, your weight, your balding, your hair, your kind of what have you.
He kept harassing me in front of the police as well, just mocking me for absolutely everything. Like, he was mocking my face, saying I had a zit that was like really big or whatever, and he wouldn't take me seriously because of that. And he kept saying basically anything that he thought would hurt me the most is what he said. Like, he said I was really fat and I would always be single.
So they often verbally degrade and humiliate victims by name calling. They, especially in areas that the victim might be really sensitive about.
Now, did you notice another thing Josie said in her video?
I had some personal, pretty intense problems in my life then.
Narcissists are attracted to vulnerabilities. So if a person's projecting this air of being vulnerable,
They target vulnerable girls.
All they do is very, very simple. They find what you are insecure about, they see those wounds on you, and they stick their grubby little fingers in those wounds.
They're very fucking manipulative. They're fucking predators. So they go after these kids.
they want to know where are your vulnerabilities.
They go after quiet people who won't speak up. Very calculative.
Narcissists are all around the world. And what are they attracted to? Positions of power where they can influence people who are in a vulnerable position.
If you want to know what Harley's guilty of, you can just look at what he accuses others of. And it's pretty disturbing how accurate it is.
Quiet ones. So these guys go to a potluck.
And it tends to be very specific.
And they can quickly work out who's going to be a good target. Who's not going to speak up, things like that.
Narcissists just look for any chink in a person's armor that they can go after.
After a while, you start to read people. You learn, who's a danger, who's a threat, who's an easy target.
Yeah, they're out there, and they're unfortunately in positions of power. But again, because they are so arrogant, they usually implode and they get found out. But unfortunately, like a Harvey Weinstein, eventually they implode because they harm enough people that eventually people can't just go, oh, it's just one or two, which is enabling.
Sexual predator is someone who seeks out someone they know they can exploit. They suss people out like, yep, she's weak, she won't say nothing. I'm gonna fucking try and dominate her, intimidate her. That's a sexual predator.
Narcissists, they're driven to feed their ego. Everything they do is about power and control. A lot of them tend to be sadistic, which means they like to inflict pain. And a lot of them are really big into humiliation and degradation.
And this girl comes from a culture where they're sort of quiet and don't rock the boat. And this person knew that, and they took advantage of that.
Again, the sadism part, the causing pain. This can be physical pain. They could be very physically abusive. Or it can be more of like an emotional pain.
And I've met a lot of seedy, dodgy motherfuckers, but to pretend to be something else they're not, to hustle teenage girls or inexperienced women.
So there's a pretty disturbing pattern with the kind of girls that Harley is targeting. They all have some kind of trauma. As we just saw, Josie was going through something difficult. We have a girl that was abused by her father. We have someone that was bashed by her husband. And remember I told you that Hannah was diagnosed with PTSD. The reason Hannah was diagnosed with PTSD was because she was sexually assaulted as a teenager. And this is something she struggled with through her whole teens. She didn't date anyone, she didn't sleep with anyone. And at 22, she finally told someone about it, and she reported it and went into counseling. And after 8 months of counseling where she didn't work or do anything, she was just dealing with this trauma. After that, one of her ways to start over and start fresh was to move to Thailand. She was actually supposed to move to South Korea, but she got a better job offer in Thailand, so she moved there. Now, how did Harley know about this trauma in Hannah's life? I'll show you how. Now, do you remember that Joe Best situation that Harley created? During that situation, Hannah sent this message to Freely and her mom, telling them that she had experienced sexual abuse in her past. Now, Hannah told them this in confidence, but clearly they didn't keep it private. As Harley proved in the message he sent to Hannah's brother, he knew about this. Now things start to make sense. It wasn't this young female in her early 20s that was interested in this scrawny old man. It was this 40-year-old man that targeted Hannah.
These girls got preyed on by this motherfucking predator. You know, they got targeted. Do you think they miraculously grow confidence and go, hey, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to call the cops and go to court and make this all public? They don't have that right now. And so they're a bit more like, I don't want to rock the boat, just be quiet, I'm embarrassed, oh my God, I'm great, I was silly, whatever. You know, and that's why it's easy for sexual predators to get away with it. Because the society won't back women and women won't back women. Women won't even back themselves. Most women are taught that they're worthless, you're a good girl, you deserve to earn less, you're just weak, you're shit, fuck off. That's what we do, we tell women you're shit. And so when something happens to them, no wonder they stay quiet or don't want to rock the boat. No wonder only 2% on average of sexual predators ever get convicted and prosecuted. Because the law system protects them. They say innocent until proven guilty. That's why they're fucking getting away with it, man. Because these girls are not going to speak up most of the time. And even if they do, they've got to jump through many fucking hoops to get something done. And all it takes is that predator to write to them and say, don't fucking say anything about me. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're trying to ruin my life, etc. And most girls go, oh. And that's why they got preyed on the first time.
And when I say low to no regard for rules and laws, I'm not just talking about the kind of rules and laws that a person would get thrown into jail for. I'm talking also about more of like social contract kind of laws. So questionable ethics, questionable morals, questionable values.
Now, even though Freely knew about this, and Hannah had told her in the Skype call that she had said no over and over again, but wasn't listened to, Freely still decided to get involved and sent Harley this private conversation that she knew didn't tell the whole story, so Harley could use it against Hannah. She also sent this Facebook message after Hannah's video. So here's Freely telling Hannah that her video was seriously unnecessary and that it wasn't 100% accurate. Now that's interesting because Freely has confirmed herself everything Hannah said in her video. Freely also told a journalist that Hannah got a world of hate for her lies. So Freely recognized that Hannah got a world of hate, but still she didn't stick up for her.
And the narcissist might be telling them, you know, she threw herself at me or he threw himself at me. And so she might, most likely, is going to tell herself, well, these other women are crazy. They're the problem, right? They just keep throwing themselves at him, that he's not the problem. That these other women are bitter or they're jealous or they're jaded or they're crazy or.
So denial is deadly. That they don't want to admit or deal with the fact that their partner is a molester. They don't want to admit or deal with the fact that their partner is an abuser, that they've picked wrong. And it's their ego. It's their ego that gets in the way. The ego is the one that stops them from preventing the other person from harming. And they don't want to acknowledge or deal, and so they go into denial.
Now Freely still to this day hold on to the idea that Hannah is a liar, even after she has confirmed the steroids, confirmed the girls, confirmed everything Hannah said in her video. Now, after the breakup between Freely and Harley went public, Freely revealed quite a few things. Here you can see Freely telling Harley that you made me scared to speak up with the truth because you promised to make my life hell if I did. This is exactly how he blackmailed Hannah to stay silent. Here Freely says, when he was at my house he was constantly trying to sleep with me and grope me and it was awful, even trying to film me in my underwear against my will. I told him no many times. Oh, just like Hannah. Now when Freely got a new boyfriend, she said it was so nice to be around someone who respected her boundaries.
It's just really, really nice to be around someone who has just similar life goals, a similar way of doing things, a similar way of just respecting certain boundaries and stuff like that without going into too much detail.
Now, even after saying all of this, Freely still names and identifies victims of Harley's abuse. Here she identifies the person who was bashed by her husband, saying she was coerced into bed. She also names the 18-year-old virgin that Harley targeted.
Narcissists seem to be obsessed with virginity. Whoever the narcissist is, whoever the abuser is, who wants to be the first, wants to be the one to have sex with you before anybody else because they are obsessed with virginity. Dog face banana patch. This is one of those ones where I'm just like, this is truly fucked up.
Do you remember when Harley said he would like to see a 17-year-old get banged with a toothbrush?
If you've got a live leak video link, send it to me.
These story
DM me on
times.
Instagram.
And he goes, oh, I'd love to see a live link of that. Send me that. Would you love to see a live link of me, a 17-year-old, getting fucked with a toothbrush? You're not creepy. You're not weird.
And the 17-year-old responded and said that he was a creep.
Her boyfriend, suddenly, when something was talking about me getting fucked, got interested because he's creepy. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Freely knew about the 18-year-old virgin that Harley had targeted, and she still made this video to defend him.
But then you have the gall to call my boyfriend a pervert. This is probably one of the worst things you have done, because I have friends who have been molested and it is fucking horrible, okay, what they went through. So for you to just make light of it and for you to just have the gall to involve my boyfriend in such a serious allegation is just disgusting, and it makes me lose all respect for you.
Now all this 17-year-old said was that Harley was a creep, and look how triggered Freely was. Might it be that she knew that Harley was a pervert, that she suddenly brought that up even though it wasn't said? And here Freely is naming Hannah, spreading the lie about the hickey, spreading the lie about the sore pelvis. She even says, so thoughtful of him to share that. But then Freely share it with an even bigger audience. So thoughtful of Freely to share that she knows her lies. Then Freely names the girl that was abused by her father. And look at this Tumblr post that Freely posted December 16, 2015. This is after she knew about everything Harley had done. Still, she's saying, believe it or not, the man's got a huge heart. And she dares to tell Hannah that her video was inaccurate and should be removed. And Freely's mother is no better. Here's a message she sent Hannah after her initial video. After rereading this, Hannah, I'm so disappointed that you have tried to drag Harley into the mud. I think you owe him and Freely an apology. I can only be left to think you did this for hits on YouTube, and that is really sad. So let's go through the situation. This 60-something woman and her almost 40-year-old daughter are told of a girl's trauma in confidence. They then disclose this information to a rapist, and the rapist used this information to target the girl. He rapes the girl and blackmails her to silence. He then goes on to accuse other men of his own crimes. The girl then makes a video calling him out on his hypocrisy, not saying anything about the rape, just saying that she had experienced some sexually predatory behavior from him. What he described as sexually predatory behavior. The behavior of luring girls half his age to his hotel room in order to ask them for sex. The rapist then makes video after video after video trying to convince everyone of this disgusting slanderous story. The 60-something woman then contacts the girl and tells the girl that she is disappointed in her. The only reason she was targeted in the first place was because she disclosed private information to a rapist. And I know people will say, oh, she didn't know that he was a rapist. But even if she bought into Harley's story, this is a 40-year-old man making video after video about a girl half his age and saying things about sore pelvis and just other disgusting stuff while he's with her almost 40-year-old daughter. On top of that, she makes the extremely insulting statement saying that she thinks the girl made the video just for YouTube hits. She's not telling this to the 40-year-old man that makes video after video after video. No, she tells it to the girl that made one video and then left YouTube. You know the really sad part though? That this 60-something woman cheated on her boyfriend multiple times. What's that? That's not true, you say? Well, if we're first gonna take Harley's words as truth, then it goes both ways. And by the way, why would Freely's mom contact Hannah if Freely and Harley had broken up? It's clear that they were still together at this point. And when they did break up shortly after, they kept it secret to not give Hannah's video any credibility. And then 4 months later, when it came out, they claimed that they had broken up before Hannah's video. It's just another crack in Harley's story. If Hannah was the liar, why would her relationship last while his relationship ended? And Freely was in on this. She helped the narc keep the breakup secret, and she didn't only stay silent and watch Hannah getting destroyed. She actually helped Harley destroy Hannah. And now she's making videos like this.
Because I want to empower you girls. as I do not support the exploitation and oppression of my fellow sisters.
Why are you projecting on Freely what Dream Runner does? Well, let me tell you why. Freely is his biggest supporter. She has been supporting him from day one, and she has helped him get his fame that he has now. Like, he would never be as popular as he is without being Freely's boyfriend, especially with the quality of his videos. Like, he would never rise to fame like he did without being with Freely.
And as someone who has such a big following, and as someone who uses the fact that others have a big following and they should be socially responsible in her message, I kind of feel like she's a bit hypocritical because she has a big platform and a big following.
And so if anyone knows him, I know him, okay? And I like to think of myself as someone who is a good judge of character, who is carved up, who is rational. So when I say someone is a good person, they're a fucking good person. His heart is so fucking huge, and there's channels that will hate on him and shit like that. But at the end of the day, the guy has the heart of someone I have never met in my life. Honestly, the most giving person I've ever met in my life.
And I was thinking about something in bed, which I think about quite often, and that's where the people who continue to eat meat and dairy, even though they know the impact of their diet choices on the planet, on the animals, they've watched Earthlings, they know all the facts, they've been educated, but they choose to continue eating animal products, whether they actually deserve to continue living.
How about this? What if someone knows the facts, they know their boyfriend is targeting and abusing girls half his age, but they choose to continue to support him? Whether they actually deserve to continue living?
The slaughterhouses still exist. The fur farms still fucking exist. They are still there regardless of you turning a blind eye to them.
And the abuse still continues regardless of you turning a blind eye to it.
And we need to bring attention to it to make a positive change.
I agree, but the only time Freely drew attention to it was when it directly benefited her.
You know, like just looking for excuses. No, you should not have that option. You just gotta step the fuck up, or you really don't deserve to live on this planet. Stop ignoring the facts that are slapping you in the face. That's all you need to do. We need that. We just need people speaking up. That is what we need, most importantly. Just do fucking something. Put some videos out. And, you know, have a purpose greater than your ego. That's all I really have to say.
Now, do Freely have a purpose greater than her ego when she denies Hannah's story but at the same time believes Josie? It's incredibly convenient for her because Hannah's story made her look bad because she knew, but still made all these videos about how Harley was so great and had a big heart and all that. But Josie's story, that was after Freely's time, so that doesn't make her look bad anymore. Incredibly convenient. And on the topic of having a purpose greater than your ego, look what Josie said about Freely. She was so over the top kind to me in June, but never talked to me again after I made the video. I feel like she just wanted to get me to make the vid because she hates the narc. She might have never cared about me that much, I feel. Do you realize how dangerous that is? To encourage a teenage girl to make a video standing up against Harley when she knows the kind of retaliation Harley has for that kind of thing? And then to just completely cut Josie out after her video? And I think Freely has known for a long time. Look at this video posted back in 2014. Their body language speaks volumes.
So have you been cheated on in the past?
Have I?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think my personal relationships really the short shares of the planet.
Oh, come on.
In case you're asking. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And how did that make you feel?
Oh. I had mixed emotions.
Listen to the way Freely says it. How would that make you feel? It's something about the way she says it. And also look at how Harley is kind of protecting himself. I think Freely is confronting him about something in front of the camera. And we know that Harley is acting differently on front of camera than off camera. So it's kind of a safer way to confront him.
What's wrong, Harley? What's wrong? Did you just take my glasses off and throw me off the bike?
No,
did he? Oh, maybe he did. Why would I jump off the bike with Harley? I don't want anything to do with him. Huh? Oh, now he's on the camera. Now he's different. Yeah. Now he's different. The different Harley's out.
I think it's time for Freely to step up. And if she doesn't, I hope people hold her accountable for her part in this. She said Hannah got a world of hate for her lies. But at the same time, she's basically confirming her story. In this thumbnail post, she's talking about how she remembered how Harley pinned her to the wall. Does it make sense that he would choke someone too? Here's Freely confirming how cunning he is, saying she cannot believe him and how he twists things. just as he has done with everyone else. And Harley is now saying, if he's a rapist, why isn't the police involved and why isn't he arrested? Well, he has already made multiple videos telling us why.
It was 2015, I think it was end of 2015, he sexually assaulted 2 women that I personally knew. And because his girl's international, not much can really be done. Why is it so hard for rape victims, sexual assault victims to prosecute their predators, their attackers? Because it's really hard to motherfucking prove it. It's really hard to prove it. Unless it's on camera, unless there's witnesses, but then again, it's their word against mine. It's very, 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 very hard to prosecute assault cases when there's no witnesses. Sexual assault, rape, very, very hard. Thinking that if you go to the police, they're going to solve all your problems for you. It's not going to happen. It's not NYPD. You know, it's not Bad Boys on TV where the cops kick down the door, arrest a criminal, drag them out. It's not that easy. And most of the time, people just give up, especially when you're dealing with girls.
It's interesting when Harley accuses other men. It's so hard for the girls to get justice for it. But when Harley is accused of it, then it's suddenly, oh, why am I not arrested if I'm a rapist? And it doesn't take very much logic thinking if you see this guy constantly talking about rape and sexual assault and how rapists operate, and he's constantly talking about it. This is not normal. And at the same time, he has multiple girls coming forward about him. Is it really so hard to believe that Harley is a rapist? The way he abuses girls publicly, is it so hard to believe he's doing that privately too?